Yes.
It's for your benefit.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend... basically, all the B-roll is going to be, can you hear this noise, Joe?
Constant readers.
Constant readers. Yeah, and that, nothing. Can't hear anything. All right. Yeah, you know what? I'm the way I'm starting it is just, hey, we're live. Because we're recording now. This is Words About Things, where we talk about everything and nothing and ramble about whatever pops into mind. I'm here with Jeffrey.
Hello.
Or El Jefe, as I like to call him. Only. I already gotta bring that up.
You get to edit shit already.
Yeah,
Joe.
yeah, I get to edit
we
stuff
paid
already.
about 30 seconds.
And I am going to. It's because I don't work there anymore.
Just take the word out.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. Because we can't mention that because we don't want anyone getting in trouble.
Unnamed insurance company.
Yeah.
Insurance company X.
Unnamed insurance company.
Insurance company X. We'll go with that.
Yeah. So the first thing we're going to do is just a real basic kickoff question, which is really just a writing prompt that I yanked off the internet that I thought was interesting, which means that I get to think about it for however long in between, and Jeff hears it for the first time. And Jeff gets to answer first.
Which is dangerous for me, because frankly, I need a lot of time to think about shit.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This one, I'll give you only a little bit to think about. It's not that hard. The writing prompt goes like this today. The man saw his opportunity. He grabbed the waitress by the arm and said, ellipses. Or ...
I'm so afraid this could go so wrong, frankly, for the poor waitress. I'm trying to think of a scenario where this doesn't, like the opening to like a murder mystery.
Well, I mean, you could go with the Nick Cage lottery one.
Come to my van with me? I don't know. I don't know what you said there.
You're going with come to my van with
yes.
me. That is a terrifying sentiment. I don't know if I should be really scared or really proud of the fact that you're a father of two girls.
The thing is when I hear, I'm not even doing it from like a predatory sense. I'm worried for the waitress because I have two girls. When I hear grab by the wrist, I'm not thinking I'm not thinking we're going down a happy road, is all I'm saying.
See, I thought you were just worried for the waitress because she hadn't brought your bacon over yet.
Oh, that would be a valid reason to grab a waitress, frankly. But no, that's not where I was going.
Now, when I read that, I will be honest, I actually didn't think about this a lot. I read that and immediately I thought, he grabbed the waitress and said, bring me all the eggs and bacon.
That's fair. Ron Swanson never would grab a woman, though, against her will.
This is true. But the reason I thought about that is because I don't know if you can call it being trolled. Probably can. In a weird way, I got tricked by Photoshop because I was scrolling through something online, so something, off of a listing website like BuzzFeed or Chive, and they had a Ben & Jerry's ice cream flavor that was called Ron Swanson's "Bring Me All the Eggs and Bacon."
Sir,
and
you can't. No, but okay. First of all, that should exist, and I know that it doesn't, and that's fine.
See, and that's the thing, though. You're originally from Ben & Jerry's country.
My uncle works for Ben & Jerry's.
Yeah. So you don't get. But I saw that, and it was pure exuberance for me. I was like, that sounds disgusting.
Yes, it does.
But I would absolutely try it, and Jeff needs to know about this because you're a huge fan.
And I would try it, but let's be honest, there's no way that goes well.
No.
But the
Photoshop, I don't know. I mean, bacon-flavored ice cream.
Yeah, but bacon and egg flavored ice cream.
Well, but I'm not going to defend it, but let's think about it this way. I never thought I'd like an egg bagel because I didn't understand what it was.
Fair. I'm not even saying you shouldn't be fooled by that flavor. I'm saying the Photoshop Ben & Jerry's pint is one of the oldest fucking tricks in the internet.
It's one of the oldest tricks for you. I'm skeptical of everything I see.
You just wanted it to be true.
I really did. I desperately wanted it to. Not actually for me. It was more, honestly, for you. Because I wanted to...
If that existed, I would have been waiting outside the grocery store when they opened.
I'm sure you would have.
On release day.
I'm sure you would have. Your uncle probably would have sent you a message and said, who the fuck is this dude? And why am I
I've actually heckled him about that not being real.
Oh, yeah?
To be honest, yes.
Okay, so you've seen it.
A few months ago. I did see it a few months ago. And I emailed it to him. And then, because he is a hippie that lives in the mountains near the Ben & Jerry's factory, like a month later when he got around to checking his email, I did yell at him for it not being real.
Yeah, well, that's immediately where I went when I saw that writing prompt. I said, "Oh, there's my winner." But I do have a couple prepared for next showings. Which, by the way, while we're on that topic, anyone who by chance is listening, which at this point is Jeff's friends, my friends, and probably family that was strong armed.
Like my family and friends have to listen to me a certain amount of the time anyway. I'm not sure they're going to do the fucking extra credit of finding a way to download this and listen to me more when I'm not there.
Yeah,
But this is episode 0, and as it turns out, it may be to an audience of 0 as well.
Yeah. Well, no, I got a couple people who will absolutely listen to it. But if you happened across this, on whatever site we decide to post it on, or host it rather,
or is kindly enough to allow us to use their bandwidth.
Exactly. Just know that we're shooting right now for putting out some content at least every 2 weeks. If you like it, please feel free to let us know. You can go to the Twitter, which Jeffrey's in charge of.
Yes, which is Words Without Things, but Words doesn't have an O, because despite the 140 characters for a tweet, you can't have that many for a username. So, no O, as it turns out.
And conveniently enough, the email address, if you'd rather, send us a line, you can send us something that you hate us. You can complain about the poor sound quality. It's wrdsaboutthings@gmail.com. So the Twitter handle and the email are the same. Same basic idea. I decided to match what the Twitter was to make it less confusing. But let's face it, we'll probably change the name of it eventually, which sucks because I like it. You know what? We checked Twitter. I'm pretty sure I checked Gmail too. And neither of us decided to check to see if there was a podcast named that.
I don't think I can't say for sure. I feel like one of us would have known that already. Granted, we're going to get cease and desist letters like tomorrow.
There you go.
I guess I don't know. I feel like it's not.
Yeah. So, again, anything you want to send out, if you want to subscribe or whatever else, that's always helpful. If you want to send in a topic that you want to hear two out-of-shape kids from the Western New York area to talk about, feel free, I
do think it was adorable of you, though, that given the fact that we're dealing with the internet, that a moment ago you were like, maybe you'll tell us you hate it, as though it was like a glimmer of hope in your eye that somebody might not give a shit about something about this.
You know what, though? Honestly, it's because I was thinking email, and it's like, I don't really know that anyone's going to take the time to just send hate email. A tweet I can totally see all day, every day.
Right. They'll just copy and paste something mean from Google Images and send it to us instead.
Just, inappropriate pictures. I've just realized now that there's no possible way that I can have my mom listen to this, because I think we've already exceeded the acceptable swear limit by about 10 or 11.
Now, I have to, given that, I do have to ask about the sign that says, "This does not offend me."
Yeah. So my mom is a very interesting, lovely person, but she says things weird a lot of times. So very recently, and this will lead into this one. Very recently, we were there. My aunt was in town. We were having dinner, and my mom had made this little dessert thing. My aunt, who lived in Massachusetts, we used to go visit her, and for whatever reason, there was always at least one, if not multiple, Friendly's watermelon sherbet logs. Do you remember those?
I don't.
Well, yeah, your family, Ben and Jerry's. That was probably a bad word. Essentially, what it was is, just think about if you took. I'm almost positive it was sherbet. I'm not 100%.
Really, the only part of that I wasn't able to keep up with was when you called it a log. Because I'm not thinking of ice cream treats in that shape.
Yeah, no, it's so think if you took a watermelon and cut it in half, okay, and then cut the two ends off of one of the halves. So we just kind of called it a log.
Fair enough.
Kind of a semicircle. So, anyways, I had mentioned it, and I was feeling nostalgic. This is absolutely. I love all my aunts, but she is, plain and simple, the one I spent a lot of time with when I was a kid. So I said, what if I ran to Friendly's and grabbed one of those? And then I kind of thought, because I'm getting older now and I think of other people's feelings, which sucks, by the way. I kind of thought, I don't want to offend my mom, who spent time making this dessert. So I called her and I said, hey, Mom, we're just I was feeling nostalgic. This idea came up, but I know you spent time on this dessert. I want to make sure that this isn't going to offend you if I run out and grab a different dessert. And she just came back, and you kind of had to see how she was positioned, but she came back and she said, this does not offend me. And immediately I break down laughing. My aunt breaks down laughing. The girlfriend was with me. She started laughing. And it was just, I know it's not incorrect grammar or anything like that. I know it's not truly in the form of talking like Yoda, but that's immediately what popped into my head. I mean, let's be honest, it would be offend me, this does not. But just the way she said it, it was just...
Now, having met her just the one time
at
your surprise birthday party, I have to ask, though, not knowing what tone or what deflection was used, if that was said because she was, in fact, not offended, or if that was just a thin veil over blind rage.
I think what it was is she was just really confused I think she absolutely wasn't offended at all, but I think she was really confused as to why we thought that might offend her. Like, I really think she genuinely just didn't understand. Like, it was kind of like, you want to go buy a different dessert? Go nuts. You know, so she just, you know, kind of a little bit confused.
Taken aback as to why you would even consider the possibility of it offending her.
Yeah, exactly. And it was funny, though, because I don't know if I've talked to you about this at all. I swear she has nominal aphasia. She forgets. She can tell you everything about the object, but she doesn't know the word. So she can describe it 800 times over. Now, this was crystal clear in a voicemail that I lost, which pissed me off. I saved it for months. She called me up, and my mom still, in this day and age, still goes, hello, Joseph, this is your mother.
Sure.
As if I didn't already have the caller ID. I don't know her name, her voice, you know, everything else. And she said, well, I have one of the things that usually people have in their bathroom. It sits on the floor. They're usually white. They're square, and you stand on it, and it tells you how much you weigh. And I know that you're starting to pay attention to, you know, nutrition, and I know you're trying to lose weight, so I thought maybe that would help you out if you wanted it. It's a little bit broken. It's off by a couple pounds, but if you wanted that. And I could tell she's dragging the voicemail out because she's still in her head trying to find the word scale.
Are you sure that's what it was, or do you think she was just hesitant to call you fat in a voicemail?
No, not at all.
It sounds like that's where it's almost...
Not at all, because she absolutely 100%, anytime I go over there, pats my stomach, and it's like, oh, it looks like you're gaining a little weight. It's like, oh, it's genetic. Like, I look exactly like my father does. I don't know what you want. No, so she's a trip. So that's why that quote is over there, because we lost that voicemail, and you know, the girlfriend and I kind of wanted to remember it. I've asked my sister to do this, but I should ask you because you're just as capable. I really want her face photoshopped onto a Jedi and holding a lightsaber.
Done.
And I want to put that quote under it. I'm going to make a magnet for her birthday.
You realize that as you're saying this, I've already envisioned her like standing just over Yoda's shoulder in the swamp on Dagobah with the quote in there, right?
I'm totally cool with that. It's going to be great because her birthday is an awesome day this year. Her birthday is Marty McFly Day. Her birthday is the day he arrived in the future in one of the movies. So she has not seen any of those movies. I think her birthday is going to be a Back to the Future marathon. And I'm just going to... And you know what? She'll love it because she just likes spending time with her son. So
that's a solid way to do that.
Yeah. And it's... Hey.
Now, you'll have to help me out. I know you're going to judge me about this, but watch your fucking step, because I know what movies you haven't seen. What day is Marty McFly Day?
Now, here's where
I've actually seen those movies like twice ever, and I think I was about 19 the last time I watched it.
Yeah, here's where I'm going to get in trouble, because, oh man, yeah, I apologize about the garbage sound equipment we have. See, I have to be careful. I'm almost positive it is October 21st, 2015. But the unfortunate thing is, my mother's birthday is one of the only birthdays in my family I don't know off the top of my head.
I see.
I miss it every year. So let's just confirm that.
Probably good this is coming up after you've mentioned that you're not going to listen to the podcast.
Oh, I will tell her she absolutely can if she wants to. I just don't think she'll be able to hand it. You know, she won't. October 21st, 2015.
There we are.
Yeah. So, look at that. I just... just proved myself there. So yeah, so that's what I'm planning on doing with her. Now, speaking of parents and stuff, as we've already said, you obviously have children, and you said you just celebrated what anniversary with the wife?
9 years.
That's disgusting. See, I'm actually personally.
I can feel your girlfriend's fucking laser vision going over my shoulder.
Yes,
Oh,
for anyone listening, the girlfriend is sitting very quietly in the corner trying to read, but she did not choose. She did not choose wisely as to where she sat down to read. Yeah, well, we just celebrated 5 years. What do you want?
I feel like what she would want is you to not call 9 years disgusting.
I'm just going with because I was shocked when I met you and found out that you were married. How long you had been married already at that point?
I'm just not used to it. Because you're astounded that someone could bear me that long, and let's be really, really directly honest about that.
I don't think it was bear you that long. Well, maybe a little bit more because I knew a little bit of your history at that point, and it was like, oh, this girl dealt with him. Driving around in a full-size vehicle on ice.
Yes.
That's, Jeff used to, what do they call it? Snowcross?
Well, rallycross on snow and ice racing on the Finger Lakes. But again, though, going back to the Vermont point, I grew up with my family members taking RVs out onto Lake Champlain to go ice fishing, and if that shit didn't break through the ice, a little Subaru is not going to either. So that's really the only... that's the only science I need on that.
But I guess the terrifying part for me was the fact that you... it's because I grew up down here, and not a year went by that you didn't hear about some snowmobiler going through the ice.
Yeah, but that's on little creeks and stuff.
No, Lake Erie.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, but that's not a good idea either, though.
When I look back on it, it's probably they were late in the season. They went too far out where the water starts running quicker,
right.
And stuff like that. It's still terrifying, and I think that it was more the fact that you were roughly my age. We had a lot in common. And you're like, I've been married for forever and have 2 kids in my life together. It was just like, oh, okay, great, and and you're like, yeah. Met my wife when I was 19.
I agree with everything right up to the had my life together point, because I'm not sure that's the case now, but that's fine.
Other than a slight problem with indigenous raccoons in your yard, I don't think you really are giving yourself credit on this one. How is the raccoon? What was
fucking everywhere.
What was the last thing you were trying to do? Laser pointers?
Yeah, it didn't work at all.
Yeah, it didn't work.
I live in a town where I'm not allowed to... Essentially, I'm not allowed to do anything legally about the raccoons. And these aren't cute wilderness in the woods wild animal raccoons. These are fat, disgusting, 50 to 60 pound, walk down the sidewalk and just eat out of garbage cans, asshole raccoons.
So you've discovered the urban raccoon.
Well, it's not... I guess... And it's horrible because they press their dumb faces against my dining room on the back of my house is a big glass door, and they press their dumb faces right up against that and look into the house, and I just want to get rid of them, and I'm not allowed to do anything to them in the town where I live without getting in trouble.
What amazes me is the town you live in also has a coyote population, and
I live there and I didn't know that.
Yeah, okay, so you know where the seminary is?
Yes,
up by Knox. Apparently, I got a friend who is there, becoming a priesty thing, and he said there's coyotes all over the place. Which we're not going to get. Just for everyone listening, don't tune out. There's going to be just a touch of religion here. Neither of us are religious. I just want to point it out. The funniest thing is he lives in the St. Francis dorm. There's a story about St. Francis going out into the wilderness and preaching to a coyote and talking him out of attacking people.
If I can just stop you for one moment, back to the part where I'm not religious, it's stories like that that took me away from... I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
I don't need to offend that many people.
No.
12 minutes into episode 0.
Hey, whatever, If people, if people want to get offended, they can get offended. Maybe someday we'll have him on the show. He's actually really fun to talk to because he's not...
As long as he's got more stories about saints talking to wild animals.
Oh, I'm sure he does. Well, St. Francis preached.
Can a saint come talk to the raccoons in my backyard and make them go away?
I'm sure one could. Father. Well, we're
if snakes can be driven from Ireland, surely raccoons can be driven from my backyard.
Right. Now, we're going to give away our geographic location, which is fine. But Father Baker, I think, is the last saint. Did they ever get? Well, we're getting too far.
I don't know.
I know they were.
I'm the wrong person to ask anyway, man. I don't know.
Yeah, you missed out on all that stuff, man. So, do you know who Father Baker was?
Yes. I got sent to Catholic high school, dude. And yeah, of course, yes.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, Father Baker, the reform school that he had was that was the threat in this town.
I mean, allegedly he just beat the shit out of kids, right?
Let's probably not him. I don't want to slander that guy, but let's be honest. I mean, back in the 50s...
His lackeys. All slander him. It was his lackeys.
Right. I'm sure the nuns and...
The Old Testament at the side of the head as opposed to a phone book, sure.
Right, exactly.
Ready, that's fine.
Now, speaking of which, I know you're out. Would you like a coffee beer?
Yes.
Yeah, all right, cool. Well, then we'll go ahead and...
Slight break. Hops call.
I'm guessing pause works.
Sure.
So... we grabbed our coffee beer, and we'll taste it. I've had it. I actually love it.
What is this called again now?
This is Narragansett.
You've left the bottle in the kitchen. I'm going to the kitchen now.
Narragansett Autocrat Coffee Stout.
Coffee milk stout.
Coffee milk stout, yeah. Coffee milk is a very interesting thing that they do there, where they take that coffee syrup that I showed you. They put a thing of milk down and pour some of that in it, and you have coffee-flavored milk. Which is it's an odd thought to me. I've tried it,
I'm kind of okay with coffee-flavored anything,
generally. Yeah,
so
this is true.
Sold on merit.
Yeah, they have some things, I think, that are starting to make their way here, but right now I have a friend who goes back there every once in a while, and that's... He brought this back for me because I really wanted to try it.
There we are.
Because, I like coffee.
I like stouts. We've met in the middle.
Yeah.
It's tasty.
Yeah, I know, right? This is, I don't know. I wonder how much trouble I can get in the fact that I'm going to mention a bunch of other people's stuff. Like, I've already talked about the Chive and BuzzFeed and stuff. But
what are we going to do to fuck up?
Right, yeah, this is true. This is the first beer that I have tried that got 5 stars on Untapped, that I rated 5 stars on Untapped, because I really liked it. I will have to check this in too, because posterity and stuff. I'll put in the description, drinking this while recording my first podcast. So at this point, talking about nothing and everything, we've kind of taken a little bit of a nod from a couple of podcasters, and now I'm sure we're doing another, because I'm sure there's podcasters about a couple of guys drinking beer and talking about it.
I'd imagine. Generally, I would imagine they've had a lot more beer when they're recording than this, but yes. Yeah,
well, I have a whole bunch in the fridge, so seeing as the fact that we're splitting them, we can have fun with this. I don't know. This is just for anyone that cares about beer. It's a seasonal brew, from what I know. It is crazy dark. Like I don't know. I'd put that on par with Guinness.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, frankly, in my opinion, if you can see the sun through the beer, it's too light. So
you're a sick man. But you probably do you like IPAs?
It depends.
Here's
because the thing is, and a lot of them that go so crazy with the hops use German hops. And when I drink a beer that's like heavily infused with German hops, all I can taste is bananas.
That's interesting.
And it's just not my deal.
That's interesting.
It tastes like bananas to me.
I will promise something to everyone. If we continue, having a beer while we go through and do podcasts, if it ever comes to an IPA, I will guarantee you that I will rate it crap. I will guarantee you that I will say it tastes like Pine Sol. Unless, and I am not, if you like these beers, that's fine. I've always said, if you drink a beer and you like it, that's a good beer. Doesn't matter what I think. There's one beer in particular that I hate. It tastes like cat pissed on a pine tree. And that is I think it's Ithaca Brewing. It's the beer is called Flower Power, and I don't understand. And the funniest thing is that like a week after I tried it, I was at Flying Bison Brewery, because at this point everyone should have figured out we're basically in Buffalo. I was up there and I'm talking to the woman who's working the counter doing a tasting, and I ended up bringing that up. She's like, I love that beer. I was like, oh, that's interesting. She's like, why? I'm like, I thought it tasted like garbage.
Yeah, I don't care for Flower Power rather. And there are some IPAs I like. I mean, I'm definitely like a stout and porter drinker generally, but I just had Great Lakes Brewing Rye of the Tiger IPA a couple nights ago, and it was pretty good. But it's like, that's not one that has like the German hops in it. Yeah. Those are the ones. I don't know if Flower Power does or not. I had that once and I didn't care for it, but that's not really the type of beer I like generally anyway, so I wasn't really surprised.
I'm pretty sure they have Calico hops in it. Calico and spruce hops. Yeah. It's disgusting. I hate that goddamn beer. I just can't stand it. But then again, we've kind of narrowed it down because I never really drank beer until I met this guy. And his name's Armin, because he'll listen to this. He'll get pissed I didn't say his name. Well, he will. But he kind of, said, well, let's have some beers and everything else. And the real way he got me into it is, well, actually, I think one of the first ways I got into beer is actually what's written on the glass, because I tried a Hoegaarden. I think that was actually your suggestion.
It was.
Yeah.
It was my suggestion. I'm going to fucking take credit for it, too.
And I liked it so much, I bought a 6-pack. Oh, yeah, because I sent you the picture that day. And then I asked for these glasses for Christmas because I just thought they were cool. And they've held up really well. And I like a heavy beer glass. And then he got me onto that Untapped app. And the problem with that, and what, if I wasn't so lazy about stuff, it would make me an alcoholic, because they have achievements and badges that you can unlock, and I'm just such a sucker for that. It's like there's been at least 3 beers that I've drank and said, this is disgusting, but I have to finish it for a goddamn badge. That's been my description of the beer. One of those was a 6-point grapefruit something or other. It was terrible.
I mean, if you went into grapefruit beer not knowing...
Well, see, now, sir, that's unfair. Because, yes, there are some beers that just, there's too much fruit to them. But there's a couple that you can't eat, it's a hint, and I don't mind it.
I don't even mean, like, anything that has fruit generally.
You just meant grapefruit.
And that seems like we're off to
That's
a bad
right.
start.
See, I actually had super high hopes for it. It wasn't the grapefruit that threw it. It was the fact that it tasted like you had taken cloves and just liquefied those with some grapefruit and beer.
Sounds delightful.
Yeah, it's and I don't mind the taste of clove, but this was just too much. Too much altogether.
I mean, and, like, even going back to the IPAs though, like in the last, I'd say a few years, because I'm old and everything seems like it was a few years ago now, but probably the last 10, 15 years, at the breweries that make those now all just seem to be in this weird competition, so you can jam the most hops into a bottle, and it's just like to the point where it's half of those things. It doesn't even seem like it's about making the beer taste a certain way. They're just trying to go crazy on the IBU scale for those.
Yeah,
it's I don't know. It's just not my deal.
IBUs, International Bittering Units. Look at you. God, I didn't know you were a beer nerd. Mainly because every time we go to the bar, you're like, can I have a Schmittix or a Guinness? That's pretty much all.
Well, if I'm gonna, when we're at the bar though, generally it's for a soccer game, and I'm not there to like sip something. I'm there to drink a nice smooth stout so I can scream at the television if I have to.
See, and again, it's so funny because I don't like Guinness, the traditional Guinness. Guinness Red Harvest, which if you haven't tried, next time it comes around,
I have. Whenever Guinness puts out like a special release, I have to at least try it once because I love Guinness so much.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it was fine. What was the one they did a couple years ago? Like they had a big anniversary one?
I have no idea. Remember, I didn't.
Right.
The funniest thing, I bartended for 4 years and I never got into beer. Just never did it. And it was mainly because I figured it out. It's because every time we went somewhere and someone would be like, "Oh, try this beer, you'll love it." I'm pretty sure they were giving me an IPA or something that was real hoppy, and I don't like it.
Yeah, a lot of people that are like consider themselves beer guys that just try and force IPAs down people's throats, which is fine if that's what somebody likes. But if you're trying to get somebody turned on to beer, I think that's one of the last places you should start.
Yeah, it's funny though is you're right. A lot of companies are trying to jam hops in. When my brother was bartending out in San Francisco, this is years ago. This was when Sam Adams was first really starting to roll out countrywide, and a rep came in, and my brother bartender, but he knew his bar. His bar was, okay, this is years ago, so before hipsters. Well, not before hipsters, but before hipsters were a huge thing.
Right.
Like, his bar was PBR, Budweiser, whiskey. Everything else that was back there is because they got it at some point and couldn't sell it. So this guy came in and he's like, "Oh, you don't understand. All these companies, they use one type of hop. We use 4. We use 5. We whatever." And my brother's retort to the poor guy was, "Maybe you're wrong." just flat out, and I'm sure that's exactly how he said it.
Dude, do you see that this bar has 3 mini fridges of PBR cans for sale behind
yeah. It was like, dude, behind you is the largest chilled Jägermeister tap you've ever seen in your life. That people aren't coming in here for artesian beer. But that's the thing is, you're right. There's a brewery in L.A. There's a brewery in Louisiana, and everything they do is some kind of fruit. It's strawberry or blueberry, and we tried some of those, and I didn't like a single one of them. So I don't. The only other beer I can compare that whole thing to is Magic Hat's Circus Boy, which is a Hefeweizen.
Right.
Brewed with lemongrass. And I thought, oh, this would be delightful, because they suckered me in with marketing. Because their label looked really nice, and it was in a craft pack, and I was like, yeah, dude, I'll do that.
Yeah, but every labeling, the labeling Magic has ever made has looked delightful. So
right, this is true. Yeah, but no, that was rough. That was actually one of my first, when I started getting into it, it was one of my first drain pours, where I tried it, and I said, no, I can't do this. Down the drain. And I felt bad about it. What are you going to do,
No, you didn't make it. It's not your fault.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't make it. Not my issue. So, out of 5 stars, how would you rate the Autocrat coffee?
It's really good, man. I'm going to say 4.
4 out of 5. That's pretty good. That's an 8 out of 10.
Which, although I have to say, as a stout drinker, you're going to have to do poorly for me to not like it, but it's a kind of a unique taste too, which I've not exactly had a stout like this before. It's good.
Yeah. I was like I said, I was a pretty big fan of this one. What do you think? Should we do another one?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't have another one of those. But
okay.
We'll try another beer, and we'll come up with more topics to talk about. So let's go ahead and get that
to the beer.
Okay. So
we've got the beers.
This one I've heard good things about. Apparently, you've already had.
I have. It's good.
This is Left Hand Brewing Co. Milk Stout Nitro. We're going to see if I like this. If this is really hoppy, I'm not going to.
I think you're safe on a stout, Joe.
Yeah.
I will say, I do enjoy Left Hand Brewing, and specifically this stout. They do advertise it on the bottle as America's Stout, though, and they may want to calm down a little bit on that.
Well, I will say this. We're enjoying it improperly because I'm reading the back here, and it says 40 to 45 degrees.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you we're lower than that.
That's fine.
Cheers. Forgive the dead air we're drinking.
Yes.
Oh, that's not bad. It's not as...
it doesn't have the coffee taste, is what you're trying to say.
Well, I didn't want to sound pretentious. I was going to go with it's a bit more bland than the last one, which I actually kind of like. There's... I don't really taste the finish, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, most of the milk stouts I've had lack that bite you might be expecting.
Yeah, I like that. So, all right, so we're drinking beer, and we've been talking about it way too much. So, another thing that you're a connoisseur of is sneakers.
It's true.
I kind of want to know because I still have the picture of the Easter egg sneakers.
You've got to be a little bit careful about that, though, because I enjoy sneakers and I have a lot, but to call me a connoisseur of sneakers on the internet, where there are people that have entire rooms of their house full of nothing but floor-to-ceiling stacked special release Air Force One boxes, I'm not sure it comes through as exactly the way some people might say. I've got a lot.
I think we can probably coin this as kind of a casual aficionado at a Macklemore status, because you buy most of these at flea markets and
when I can find them.
Yeah,
when I can find them. Yes.
Do you ever buy a pair new though?
Of the Nikes, typically not, because I'm actually not a big Nike guy, and I've got a few pairs of them because I like some of the wild colors and stuff on some of the pairs you've seen. But those, I have not bought any of the Nikes brand new. Outside of one pair of like soccer shoes I have from them, but even that came from like an outlet mall, so that wasn't like right directly, at the normal price or whatever. Their shit's just too crazy expensive, frankly. Yeah. And it's not like I'm on some mealy mouth moral high ground against Nike because all those companies make their sneakers in like fucking horrible conditions and that. But like with Nike specifically, I'm not like warm and fuzzy with them. But like the pair I got like last summer, it was they were new. Well, from like 2006, but they were never worn before. It was like a special like soccer version. So it was Ronaldinho, the Brazilian star, had his own signature shoe. Like it's stuff like that. It's like the designs on it. But I'm not a big Nike guy generally.
Right. So it's for you. It's not because you wear them. I mean, and I know that's a lot of people don't.
Yeah, I have a bunch, but I do wear them. So it's not like I'm not. Like a collector. Like when you say connoisseur, I think a lot of people would think like sneaker collector, and it's not. Right. Yeah, I have a lot of that shit that people would collect, but I tend to wear it instead. Right. No, that's fair. I mean, and that makes some people cry, but that's what they're fucking for is their sneakers.
Yeah, that's like my very small collection of Zippos. There's only two. There's only two that I have that have never been used, and one it's because it was it was when Camel. Was still doing Camel Cash when like cigarette companies were still allowed to do stuff.
Yes, when they were still allowed to market to children with cartoon characters.
Whatever. Sure. No, when they still had Camel Cash, I had saved up, a bunch, and this guy and I were kind of pooling our stuff, and we found these really cool solid brass ashtray and lighter sets. So I never opened that one because I'm like, it's part of the set and it's kind of cool. It had like a Moroccan design on it. And I said, all right, well, we'll keep that. And then the other one, someone found me a ladies Zippo, and it's one of the first ladies Zippos that came out. All they really were is they're just slimmer, and they're a little bit longer, because apparently lighting a cigarette with a smaller hand, you can't do it with a Zippo. Yeah.
Too taxing.
But I thought that one was cool. I'm getting the hand signal from the girlfriend now that it was not that, it was that they fit into pockets better.
I see.
Which I am going to call bullshit and give her the American Sign Language bullshit because she's forgetting this was back in the 50s when women didn't typically wear pants. There was dresses and shit.
You guys are both going above my head on this shit. I was just envisioning some poor lady back in the 50s fucking clutching her pearls, unable to operate a big, heavy, manly Zippo leather. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll take either explanation, frankly, because I'm not going to be able to sort out either one.
Right. But those are the only ones, and I have talked to other Zippo people, and they go, oh, you're a collector, and I said, well, kinda. I said, when I see one that I like, I buy it, and then I use it. And they all, oh my God, you use them. Yeah. They get so mad, and it's like, no, that's kind of what they're for. And I think it adds more to it. I have one of my favorite ones. I was going out to see my brother, and this was post 9/11, but it was the first time that I flew after 9/11. Now, at our tiny ass little airport, I walk in there and I'm reading the thing on the counter saying you can't bring this, can't bring this, can't bring this. And I asked the lady, I said, I'm really sorry. I have a Zippo. Is there anything we can do about this? Not at the check, not at the TSA counter, at the actual right. ticketing counter. And she said, yeah, there's really nothing. And I said, do you guys have like an envelope back there? I'll fill it out. I'll give you money for the envelope and a stamp. Can you just pop in a mailbox and mail it back to my house? And this is me not thinking of the fact that the Postal Service has an issue with that. Right. Because it's a full Zippo, so it's flammable. No,
it's fine. Just pop that in the airplane full of paper.
And she was like, yeah, there's nothing we can do. And I even went so far as to ask, because apparently I spent more time in train stations than airports. I was like, do you guys have lockers that I could rent for like a week? Because I took some train trips when I was a kid, and I remember lockers. And she said no, and I was really bummed out, but it was 5 a.m., so I couldn't call anybody. The friend who had dropped me off was already well gone.
Should have gone and found like the airport bar and just stuffed it in a fucking flower pot or
You're
something.
You're going to love this. I did something very similar to that. So I went outside and I had a cigarette, and I was wistful, because at that point I had had that lighter for 5 years. And yeah, it's just a dumb fucking, I like cigarettes with it.
There was some smart part of you was like, maybe I'm not going on this flight.
Yeah, and I was like, shit. So I said, you know what? I said, I'm absolutely not going to, just toss this lighter or whatever. I said, and I don't want to give it to someone and be like, hey, I've had this lighter. They won't let me take it on a flight. Like, have at it. So I went and I pretended like I was tying my shoe inside the terminal. And I took the lighter and I kicked it under a heat register because their heat registers didn't go all the way to the floor.
Okay.
And I figured, well, if I luck out, it's here when I get back. If I don't, that is what it is. And wouldn't you know, I went out to San Francisco with my brother, which basically means I lived in a bar for 5 days.
Sure.
And somehow through all of that, which is just a lot of beer and a lot of horchata, which I'll get to in a minute, I came back, remembered exactly where I put it, bent down, it's still there. Which either means A, I was really meant to keep that, and I still have it to this day, or B, the cleaning crew at Buffalo Niagara just sucks. Yeah,
that's what we're saying.
Yeah, no, it's but that's I totally get what you're saying about people freaking out about wearing shoes. But you're right, that is what they're for.
I don't get it. Even like anybody that collects anything that's meant to. I mean, if somebody's collects like hockey cards or comic books or something. And, I get being careful with those. I've got some of that stuff, and I'm careful with it because it's meant to be fucking careful with. Like, the guys that collect sneakers or collect... Like, the thing that really kills me is the guys that collect old cars and shit and just, lock them up in a fucking hangar somewhere and never drive them. Because that's mind-blowing to me. I can't get my head around shit.
That, and we both know, if you let a car like that sit for too long...
It's bad for it anyway.
It's terrible for it. I can't tell you how many stories I've had.
Although, let's be honest, I just said a guy with a hanger like he doesn't have a fucking butler going back to move around still.
Yeah, or, well, he probably has a butler who's taking him whether he wants to, whether he knows or not. I can't tell you how many times people come to the gas station and, they're like, oh, I need some kind of fuel stabilizer because I'm putting my snowblower out. And people don't think about doing that with their cars that they're going to put in storage for God knows how long, and they just let it sit there and then they run into problems. Yeah, that's a terrible thing. So, speaking of customers, let's talk about this. Now, Jeff and I have both worked some of the same. We've worked absolutely the same job in 3 different positions, and we've also worked some of the same, just basic.
In front of the public, is what you're saying.
What's that?
In front of the public.
Well, in front of the public, but more we share some experience, some unique experiences, in my opinion. Now you're in a new department now.
Yes.
At Insurance Company X.
Yes.
Let's try and help people out. This is a section for you guys. It's how to maybe make your life a little bit better. Because my general belief, and I've done no research whatsoever on this, but it's just personal experiences. Your life actually probably sucks because of you. That just plain and simple. Like if you get pissed off about something and then you take it out on someone else, and then you go, oh my God, this day's just not going my way. Well, you know what? It's actually probably because of you. If you just relaxed a little bit, and listen to the people who are trying to help you out, your life would get better. I felt that a lot at Insurance Company X. So in your new department, since I have no experience with it, because I'm sure we'll hash out stuff that we used to hear. What's like what's the thing that people do all the time that you just shake your head and you go, shit, now I gotta do X, Y, Z?
When someone has caused a massive car accident, let's say a month ago, and then calls me and go, why does my shit cost more than it used to? And then I look and take one look and I see you fucking smashed into a car and caused $10,000 of damage. Oh, that makes a difference? No. Nope. Doesn't.
So it's not even like them just not real. It's just their ignorance, and that's fair.
The thing that gets me the more I in the new position at Insurance Company X, generally I'm talking to like 100 to 120 different people a day.
Yeah.
And most people are fine, and frankly, most people are calling for very legitimate reasons. But the few people a day, it's like the stuff I just said, it's not even a lack of accountability, it's a lack of comprehension of what even the concept of accountability is. Right. That is the thing that gets old after doing it for years.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The best one I can come up with one of my favorite ones from sales department at Insurance Company X is when, so we used to ask, if I actually remember this verbatim, I'm going to be impressed with myself. I
have to say the same thing now so I can tell you if it's not.
Any tickets? Hang on. Oh, man. Any tickets, accidents regardless of fault? Yeah, no, I can't.
Suspensions,
there you go. Yeah, in the last, depending on the state, that would vary. And I had a guy, so it was, anywhere from 5 to 10 years, I think, in the states we worked in. And I had a guy go, well, I had this one accident, but it wasn't my fault. Okay, great. Now, there's tip number one. If you're talking to an insurance company, listen to that question. They want to know about accidents that weren't your fault, that sometimes can affect it. And they're going to find out anyway, so just, might as well tell them up front. So this guy goes, yeah, I had this accident, but it wasn't my fault. I said, oh, okay. And, can you just give me a brief description? And he said, well, I hit a guy. And I said, all right, you hit it.
I know you're going to expand on this, but when you say a guy...
No, that's what... My brain's locked up just like yours just did. Because he goes, well, I hit a guy. Now, that tells me, well, you were at fault then. So I go, so, sir...
No, but I'm thinking like a human body, though, when somebody says guy.
Yeah, see, I didn't even get there. I was just thinking, I was like, sir, I'm sorry, you hit another vehicle? Like, can you tell me... Because I just couldn't wrap my head around how did you hit a guy and it's not your fault? And he goes, no, I didn't hit a vehicle, I hit a guy. And I said, okay. It was the one time, well, one of the very few times where I kind of lost my composure. I just said, sir, I'm not trying to be rude, but in what? Oh, motorcycle noise on the recording. There we go. I said, sir.
It's a very professional studio.
Yeah, it's a really professional living room. I said, sir, I said, I'm not trying to be rude. Just explain to me how you hitting a pedestrian is not your fault. And he came back very quickly with, well, he wasn't in a crosswalk.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, and that was when I immediately just said, okay, sir, I'm going to look into this. I'm just going to place you on hold for a minute. And then, walked around the section screaming because...
Well, that's generally when you put someone on hold and then throw a football to me, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'd throw the Nerf football around or the Nerf-like football. But that was... And that's the thing, is it's just... it wasn't really something...
Well, I mean, as we all know, though, if someone is jaywalking, the vehicular manslaughter charges are waived, so...
Yeah. But it's the same thing with, you have... I mean, the biggest thing I always loved there was, you'd sit there and you'd ask them very straightforward questions, and they'd go into stories. And you just... That's immediately... I always treated it... my parents always taught me when I started driving. They said, look, if you get pulled over by a police officer, answer their question and nothing else. And they weren't going like, we'll help you get away with stuff. It was just their way of telling me, like, hey, keep quiet, and just answer what they ask, and then you won't get yourself into any more trouble. And I kind of looked at working in the sales department like that. People would go on these diatribes, and then I find out about their 16-year-old kid who just got a learner's permit, and now I got to add him to the policy. Whereas if you didn't mention anything, I don't know. Or you mention the fact, you sit there and you tell me you're single, and then you say, oh, my wife, 5 times. And then I just casually say, oh, you're married? Yeah, I'm married. Okay, now I got to add your wife.
I had one yesterday that I loved that it was somebody calling because their policy price went up. And it was she was trying to dispute an accident. And I'm looking, and I can't see everything with the claim where I am now. It just shows me like a date and like a payout. It's like $1,000 payout, which isn't a lot now. And I said, okay, could you kind of like let me know what happened so I can see if there's anything we can do about this? I was at a stop sign behind a car. They started to pull forward, and I started to pull forward behind them. And then they stopped, and I wasn't. they stopped, and I wasn't looking, and I hit them.
So admission of guilt right off the top.
And so, like, really, to boil that down, all you're really saying is, I smashed into the back of a fucking car that was stopped at a stop sign. And then she's mad that I'm saying that she's caused that.
That's awesome.
And I just can't get, I don't know.
You must be, I've got to say, so, because they don't know this, the 4 listeners that this will have.
We've gained one?
Yeah, we've gained one. Jeff, well, I'll listen to it twice. Jeff and I worked in the sales department, and then we worked in the claims department together. We worked in the underwriting department for a stint, too. All of this is together. And then I left, and Jeff went to service. So you must be a rock star, because you've got to see stuff like that and just go, I know exactly what system we're looking at. Let's go.
Well, okay, on that end, yes. I was going to say, in the mirror universe where Rockstar is the same thing as Glutton for Punishment, and yes, that is, I am a fucking mega rockstar in that universe.
No, it's a rough gig. Understand that also, if you're calling a call center, basically their life sucks. Be nice to them, because I will absolutely.
You know
all
what
day
though?
long.
But even doing it, I have to say though, let's be really honest. That depends on where you're calling.
Yeah,
because some fucking companies deserve to get lit up.
Yeah.
And I say that doing it for a living.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give, let's say, large telecommunication companies a pass just because people call and yell at me.
Yeah, I had a very rough. Call with a printing company that we'll just say rhymes with schmhme, and and it was terrible. And I guess that's partially true. But the other part is, if you're calling in, best advice I can give: be nice, be courteous, be patient. Because honestly, the person on the other end of that, especially an insurance company X, they want you off the phone as quickly as possible too. For a number of reasons. In sales, they want you off the phone because if you're not buying it, they want to move on to the next one. In claims...
And not only that, but frankly, if you call me and you're being an asshole, I'm going to intentionally be so overly nice just to try to make you more angry. Whereas if you're just decent, I'm going to try and fix your shit and get you on your way.
Right. And I can tell you right now, if people were real shitty when I was in sales, I absolutely didn't look at anything else that could have said, like, I'm just getting through this and getting you off the phone. And from my perspective...
Joe, the asshole tax is universal. That's not specific to insurance company X.
My other part was, I drive with this company, and I don't want my rate going up, because you're going to get in accidents and have a shitty rate and stuff. I still think I hold I should at least hold the department record for highest sales quote. That $24,000 one.
Yes.
Yeah. There's I can't see anyone ever beating that. I can't believe that came through. Anyways, now that we're talking about stuff that no one cares about, whatever.
That's where we started, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, this is true. And we kind of threw this together. If you guys hadn't figured it out.
No, I think we're doing a pretty good job hiding that, Joe.
Yeah. We got the mic today because the person that said he would call me the second it was in, I'm guessing just didn't, because it was over a week. But whatever.
It's fine. He's just off the box before you get there. You won't know.
Right. If it even came in a box.
People are. We're sitting here complaining about people being shitty over the phone. People are shitty in real life to people's faces every day, too.
I deal with it all the time. Well, not anymore, because I'm out of that, but... Yeah, people are absolutely shitty. Here's a little tip that'll just make me really happy. When you walk into a gas station that is less than 300 square feet, don't walk in the door and go, "Do you guys sell milk?" Look for it. Like, that's what terrifies me. There's a lot of actual. There's 100 different customers. Oh man, we might get rolling on a bad thing here, but that is one of the ones that really kills me. We're descendant of hunter-gatherers, You had to look for shit. The antelope didn't run by your campsite. That's why you were nomadic, And people walk in. Now, first off, here's the biggest part. So, yes, the store is very small. Second, and people would come in and they go, I'm not joking.
Can you vulcanize my tires while I look?
Yeah. They'd come in and they'd just go, "Do you sell milk?" And it's like, not only, first off, you didn't even look, but secondly, that's not even that hard. There's cooler doors. There's 9 of them at the store that I was working at.
Maybe they walked into the one fucking convenience store in North America that doesn't sell milk.
Well, that would be fine if you looked and didn't find it and then asked. But, you've got 9 doors to look through. 4 of them are beer. So eliminate those right off the bat. You're not looking around the store, the sales
stout.
floor.
We're drinking milk stout right now. It's in there too.
That's just true. But the part that kills me is at this particular gas station, there's a giant picture of milk above the door where milk is.
That could mean anything.
But I dealt with it when I worked for a major big box retailer, that they didn't wear blue. Let's put it that way. And they have giant signs in what can only be described as, 3,000 font that tell you departments that you can see from the door. And people used to walk in and go, "Where's your electronics department?" And I would go, just to be an ass, I'd go stand next to them and go, "See the big sign that says electronics in the back of the store?" "Yes, I can see that sign." It's directly underneath it. Like,
I mean, the ambient glow coming off of the 48 display TVs is easy enough with all the antennae.
Yeah,
anyway.
you know, and it would kill me because if tomorrow the world shuts down, from whatever reason,
we'll never get to 5 listeners then.
yeah, the hunter gatherer. I mean, we're gonna thin the herd really quickly because people, they'd probably just be walking up to other people going, "Have you seen any food?" They're not.
That's
going
gonna be closed curtains on me, man. I can't hunt. You fucking look at me. What am I gonna hunt?
Just come here. We got weapons and shit. Don't worry about it.
I'll hunt down the remaining bags of fucking Cheetos, and then when that runs out, I'm fucked.
Pre-cooked bacon.
Yes. That should be worth a gold mine when the fucking world goes to shit.
Pre-cooked shit? Yeah.
No, I just meant the bacon.
Yeah, absolutely. This milk stout was actually really good.
Yes.
I like that.
Not as good as the Narragansett, but still good.
Yeah, I'd have to give this like 4.5 stars, but that is what it is. So what else, man? What else has been going on with, what else would you like to tell the world
I screened
about?
at some shitty teenagers on the way here today.
I like that.
So, I probably would have, before I had daughters, shot these people just a dirty look and moved on with my day. But now I'm trying to pay it forward, where if somebody is shitty to one of my kids, I'm hoping that somebody will be there to step in the way I try to step in.
Right.
So I was stopped at 7-Eleven on the way here. It's not about them, so I'll say it. It's fine. And I'm coming back out to my car just from getting a drink. And there are 4 or 5, I don't know, probably fucking 17-year-old kids sitting out front.
Right, hanging out.
Milling about it, as they are wont to do. And a couple of girls went jogging by, and they started, catcalling him and shit. And first of all, I thought that was the job of, middle-aged construction workers, not high school juniors. But in the world where that's apparently normal now for fucking kids to do, I don't know, man. I couldn't just not say anything. Because whenever shit like that happens, I'm just, picturing my daughters in 10, 12, 13 years, whatever it would be.
Right.
And so I don't think they were expecting the fat bearded guy to start screaming out at the parking lot, but that is what happened. Because I don't see... I mean, although I will say, jogging outfits aren't what they used to be. But even that being said, nobody deserves to have shit just screamed at them randomly as they're trying to fucking exercise. Because if I exercised, Joe, I wouldn't want to be held that while I was trying to fucking do it.
Yeah, no... Well, and that's... I mean, I see... We can thank my critical thinking class in college for this. I see so many sides of that because, you hit on all the major points here. I hope you don't mind. I grabbed a Murphy's Premium Red Ale. Well,
this does not offend me.
This does not offend me. That's good. Look at that, Bonnie. You're famous. You have a catchphrase. The catcalling is always bullshit. I have yelled at people.
But kids doing it.
Yeah.
And I've seen kids doing it, if you're driving down the street and they yell something out the window of a Honda Civic. I would expect that. But not a group of them.
It's not a Honda Civic anymore. You're showing your age.
That's true.
Yeah, it'd be a Scion.
But that's true. Some asshole in a TC. Anyway.
But I mean, you're right though, and I've apologized to girls for that. Oh man, sorry man.
It's okay.
We're gonna have to do another one and fill yours more than mine. Murphy's Red Ale. We'll try that.
Which I'm excited about because I've had Murphy's Stout and I like that a lot. So I haven't had this before.
I feel like I should pour some of mine into yours.
No, it's fine.
All right. So, anyways, back to catcalling and stuff. I've apologized to girls, on behalf of my gender, which probably, hindsight, they probably thought I was more creepy than the guy who, screamed out to him.
Possibly, but your heart was in the right place.
Yeah, I mean, that is what it is. But you're right, though. I mean, plain and simple, we're not in someplace where you're really at a huge risk for heat stroke and stuff. And some of the stuff that they're jogging in now, it's like, I know it's been said and it's never really, it's taboo, and that's fine. I'll take the bullet on this one. If you don't want to be looked at like that, I saw a girl the other day. I was driving by the gym on my way to work, and they have a huge bank of windows, and a girl was on a treadmill in there, and quite honestly, she was pretty much wearing what a woman wears in a marathon, like that bikini type bottom.
Yeah,
thing.
That's what these girls had on the jogging day too. And the thing is, though, and it's still shitty that they whatever, I get
Right,
it. It was
yeah.
fucking hot out today.
Right.
I'm going to sweat my ass off no matter what I wear. I'm a slob. It's fine. And they're not. So, like, I get it if that's what you're going to wear, and that's fine. And if you're going to shoot somebody a dirty look because they see you looking at them, that's fine.
Right.
But, like, I just don't get that. And you'll be shocked to learn that the 4 kids did not react well to someone screaming at them, because it takes a real bunch of fucking He-Man in a group to shout shitty things at a girl that's jogging by.
Right.
But I don't know. It's astounding to me.
Yeah. No,
it's like the generation of kids that grew up saying shitty things about each other on Facebook has now finally got off the computer and gone outside to say the same shit
right,
in the real world.
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing I've been, dealing with a lot. I find myself saying, well, kids nowadays. Yeah, but I've been saying that at first I thought it was because I was, getting older, and I got terrified that I was turning into, my parents.
The thing is, though, man, like, at 17 years old, I was a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an idiot now, but I was
Right.
a bigger idiot then, and I fully own that and appreciate that. But I wasn't screaming shitty things at girls
Right.
that were trying to jog.
Yeah.
Like, it's a different level of idiot.
Right, and like I said, I felt old, but then I really thought about it. And I remember when I was 18, the mall here, that's when they came out and they said, we're going to put a curfew where if you're under 18...
Oh, yes, the Schmelleria.
Yeah. If you're under 18, you can't be here past a certain time. And a lot of people at my job, because they all knew I was 18, they kind of asked me, they said, well, you're just past that. How do you feel about that? And I said, good. And they said, really? I said, yeah, kids nowadays are assholes. And they said, you're still a kid. And I said, I'm not those kids. I said, when I was 14, 15, my friends and I, we went to this place that was like basically there was a parking lot behind it. It was across the street from a very small movie theater. And we called it the Octagon because it was honestly it was an octagon shaped stone bench with a garden in the middle. And we used to go there and sit there, and there was a little sub joint right down the street, so people would go grab subs, bring them there, eat them there. And we used to just kind of hang out and talk and play hacky sack and stuff like that. And we never bothered anybody. And we knew all the police. Now, mind you, in this town, there were like 4. So, we knew them all. And they never had a problem. And I talked to one of them, a couple of years after that. And he said, well, we loved it because we knew where you guys were. He said, you're not spread out all over the place or anything else. He said, we know exactly where you are. So, if we think one of you guys did something, or one of the kind of, transient members of the group that would kind of float in and float out as the night went on, if we think they did something, we can come and check there. But, we never bothered anybody. There was never any fights. We didn't drink there or anything. We didn't do any illegal drugs or anything like that. I'm not saying they weren't done. They weren't done there. And, so even that close, me being 15 to me being 18, there was this new generation that were creating so many problems that an entire mall had to say, we're not going to let you in here without parental guidance after a certain point. So, it's a weird place to be when you start getting older and going, the kids nowadays. But I'm sure you do that all the time, because every time the radio comes on, you go, where are my pixies?
Yes. You presume I ever have the radio on, but if I did, I'm sure I'd have that feeling a lot.
I feel like you have to, though, because I'm not saying it was one of the happiest days of your life or anything, but I feel I got some pretty good smiles out of you when I played Thrift Shop for you, which I was astounded you hadn't heard of, because you love thrift shops.
I do. But that would require me listening to the radio.
This is true, yeah, exactly.
And I generally don't.
Yeah.
It's generally either just CDs, because my car's not new enough to have an iPod thing, or like podcasts that I actually have some goofy cable that I listen to YouTube in my car, because again, I don't have a fancy iPod thing in the car currently.
No, you know what's really funny though? I have a fancy iPod thing in my car. It's not really fancy because it came on the aftermarket stereo that I bought. Best part is I've never owned an iPod. And even if I did, I think I do the same thing. I'll pull up, a YouTube debate or whatever else, and I'll just play that when I'm driving places. But every once in a while I do, just listen to the radio, because I think you got to keep up with, new stuff that's coming out here and there. Figure out what the kids are listening to.
It's fine. My nieces and nephew will tell me what I need to know.
Yeah, there you go. All right, man. Well, I think that was a good first one. Yeah. Sorry,
episode 0.
Yeah, episode 0.
So I'm going to go ahead and just stop you for a moment here because I, unlike you, did not obtain my microphone in time for our debut episode here, and so as a result of that, the audio quality here, I'm going to take full ownership of. Because unlike the jerks that call me that don't understand what accountability is, the sound quality is Jeff's fault. So I will have my own mic the next time we record, and so hopefully it'll sound a little bit less amateurish, although we won't be less amateurish.
No, God, no.
We'll just sound like we know what we're doing.
Yeah, seriously, if someone happens upon this that isn't friend or family, yeah, send us an email. Give us a topic.
Or someone happens upon this that remains a friend after fucking listening
to it. There you go, yeah. If you made it all the way through this, not even in one sitting, remember, you've got 2 weeks to listen to it. If you get all the way through this, 10 points to you. And if we ever hit it, email us, because if we ever hit it big, we'll get you a t-shirt.
There we are.
Yeah. it'll be 2 semi-character drawings of our 2 fat bearded faces.
Yes, I can do that.
on a t-shirt.
I can draw that.
That's 4XL. And I don't care what size you are. You could be an 80-pound Portuguese woman.
Those shirts will be cheaper for us to buy. That's what we're saying.
This is true, yeah. So that's that. So thank you very much for listening, if anyone did make it all the way through. And we will talk to you guys in about 2 weeks.
Hope you enjoyed episode 0. Good night, kids.